Good day, everyone. I am Clophil L. Corpus from Bachelor Secondary Education, and we are assigned to discuss about word choice order. So, we have here the following adjectives. First, fronting and inversions. It composed unmarked word order, different types of fronting under clauses across registers, different types of inversions and of uses inversions across registers. Second, essential there clauses. Define the essential clauses, subject verbs and adverbals in essential clauses. The function of essential clauses. Third, other topics word order. Types of disclations, types of frequency of clips, word order choices after the verb and the replacement of object. Summary of syntactic choices and inversional and academic prose. Basic word in English refers to the sequence in which subject, the object, and the verb of transitive sentence occurs in speech. Like for example, Bob took the ball. We have here the following examples ways of reorder the clauses elements. It's clifting and passive. Clifting is emphasizing the person who did something. Like for example, it's Bob who took the ball. Then passive is discussing of something, like for example, a ball is tossed by Bob. So we have here the following types of grammatical devices to manipulate the word order in clauses. First, fronting. Fronting refers to any constructions in which the word group that customarily follows the verbs in place at the beginning of the sentence. Second, inversions of subject and verbs. Is steps of where the subject and the verb switch their canonical order to appearance. Third, essential their clauses. It is the modifying the keyword and the importance of main point of the sentence. Fourth, dislocation. It is a sentence structures in which the constituent occurs outside the clauses of boundaries. Fifth, clifting. It refers to the construction in which some elements in sentence is moved from its normal position into a separate clauses to it give a greater emphasis. Actions in ordering the objects is an alterations of the scope of the works in a constructions construct in the form of an additional. We have here the four major factors and important of understanding the grammatical choices that influence the word order. First, information flows. In discourse based on grammatical theory, information flows is any tracking of reference information by speakers. Information may be new, just introduced into the conversation, given already active the speakers, conscientiousness, or old no longer active. Like for example, given information, Mr. Summer and the house. New information, inside the house, Mr. Summer found a cat in the bathroom. Information flows principle, it is given to a new order of information, it contributes to cohesion.
Thank you. Focus and emphasis. The beginning of a sentence
continuation for the word order choices, my topic consists all about adverbials in existential clauses, simple versus complex existential clauses, and discourse function of existential clauses. Adverbials in existential clauses, often the important information of an existential clause, is not simply that something exists, but when or where it exists. Thus, existential clauses often contain a time or place adverbials. Example, I said, well, there's a wheelbarrow down there. As you have noticed, the adverbials down there uses where and contain a place. The next example is, there are no train on Sunday. The adverbials on Sunday uses when and it contains a time. In these examples, the adverbials is often at the end of the clause. However, initial and medial placement is also possible. Example, never the peak, there was no more trees, just rocks and grass. In this example, the placement of the adverbials is located at the initial, never the peak. The second is, there rose to her lips always some exclamation of triumph over life when things came together in peace, this rest, and this eternity. The location of the adverbials to her lips is located at the median. The placement of the adverbials is affected by the same condition as adverbials of place and time in general. The next is simple versus complex existential clauses. The majority of existential clauses have one or both kind of expansion. Two elements of existential clauses contain little or no information, the verb be in most cases and the grammatical subject there. It is not surprising that most existential clauses have additional information in adverbials or post modifiers of the notional subject. Example, in adverbials, prepositional phases and a post modifying relative clauses. The first example is, there's stuff in here we need. The second example, in most cases, a syllable is represented by only one character, but there are many cases among the 558 in which the same syllable is written in more ways than one. As you can see in this example, that without the expansion, the clauses would not convey much information. There's stuff in number 1, and there are many cases in number 2. What is strange about 1 and 2 is that relative clause, which is the underlined words, is separated from the rest of the notional subject by the adverbials marked by slashes. This is a symptom of rather loose way in which expansion are added to the end of the notional subject. The next one is tendency in speech to present information in smaller chunks and leave more for the listener to infer. These minimal existential clauses are often negative. Example, there's no bus. Yeah, there really is no excuse, is there? In these cases, the negative itself is important information. Next is the discourse function of existential clauses. In discourse function, existential clauses are used to introduce a new element, series of elements, which is going to be the focus of the following discourse. It is also often said that existential there is used to introduce a new element into the discourse, such as in letter A, focusing on a new topic. Example, a man goes in the pub. There is a beer sitting in the corner. He goes up to the bartender. He says, why is there a beer sitting over there? Notice that the first sentence introduces a new element. A man, however, this sentence does not use existential there. Instead, existential there is used twice but introducing the beer into the discourse. Significantly, the beer is the main character in the story. Furthermore, when this utterance is spoken, stress falls on the bear. Another example is that one context where it is appropriate to focus on the existence of something new is at the beginning of a story. Example: once upon a time, there was 3 bears: Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear. They all went for a walk down the woods. While in the informal narrative, sometimes the notional subject is further emphasized with the use of demonstrative pronoun. Example: there was this really good-looking bloke, and he was like, we will given each eyes over the bar in this pub. And Lottie goes, well, if you don't hurry up with him, I'm gonna go. Again, notice that the narrative continues with further reference the person introduced with existential depth, such as in letter B, introducing a series of new items. Existential there is also used to develop text in another way. It is used to introduce a series of items. Example: there are many types of aid to medical decision making available. The earliest ones used. Existential clauses also often introduce a series of new things separately. Example: it was like heaven. There was candlelight, and there was bunks with quilts and blanket heaped on top. There was a table with a bottle of wine and a loaf of bread and a sausage on it. There was 4 bowls of soap. There were pictures of castles and lakes and pretty girls on the wall. In this example, the existential clauses sets up the elements that are to follow. It introduced 5 series of new things separately. Existential clauses are used to introduce a new element or a series of elements which is going to be the focus of the following discourse. That would be all. Thank you for listening.
Good day everyone, my name is Joan Badet Makalua. So today I will discuss about syntactic choices in conversation versus academic prose. This is the continuation about our topic, which is word order choices. So let's start with syntactic choices. Syntactic choices is a literacy technique that relies on the use of distinct syntactical structures, phrases, clauses, sentences in a series in order to develop an argument or emphasize an idea. So guys, syntactic choices is usually used to develop or emphasize an idea. So let's move on to academic prose. Academic prose is the style of writing that is produced by students, professors, and investigators who belong to academic discipline or community that ascribes to the values of academia. A text that reflects on academic prose style is research-based. So, sa academic prose, guys, is kadalasan itong ginagamit ng mga mag-aaral, mga professors, and mga investigators for academic discipline, guys. So, example of academic prose is writing and speech. So, let's move on to types of academic writing. We have 4 types of writing. Academic writing. We have descriptive writing, analytical writing, persuasive writing, and critical writing. Let's go first to descriptive writing. Descriptive writing is the simplest type of academic writing. Is descriptive. Its purpose is to provide facts or information. So, descriptive writing, guys, is sabotable na kayo siya, guys, nga ang descriptive writing daw is to provide facts or information. Example of descriptive writing, guys, is journal writing. Next, we have analytical writing. Analytical writing includes descriptive writing, but also requires you to reorganize the facts and information you describe into categories, groups, types, parts, or relationships. Analytical writing, guys, is it included pa rin yung descriptive writing, but we need to but it requires us to reorganize the facts or information na nakukuha o nalalaman natin, and we need to describe it through categorized or groups, parts, types, or relationship ba. So next is persuasive writing. Persuasive writing has all the features of analytical writing. That is information plus reorganizing the information with the addition of your own point of view. So dito sa persuasive writing guys, it has all the features of analytical writing.